Internal versus external recruiters. How to secure the best talent for your startup. One of the most important decisions you'll have to make when hiring new talent for your startup is whether to bring the recruitment process in-house or partner with an external recruiter. If you get your recruitment strategy wrong, the financial consequences can be devastating. So, how do you make sure your hiring strategy is foolproof and gets you your ideal candidates? Welcome to Kofi Group. We're the executive recruitment specialists dedicated to matching software developers and machine learning engineers on a direct hire basis with VC-backed startups in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, New York, and Austin. Our videos cover hiring tips and strategies for startups, software engineering, data science, interview preparation, salary negotiation, remote work, recruitment tips, and much more. Subscribe now for the latest software engineering and machine learning insights, invaluable hiring tips, and the best career building advice on YouTube. While the exact figures are highly debated, some sources believe the cost of a bad hire can be as high as $240,000. The Department of Labor says a poor hire can cost as much as 30% of the hire's first-year earnings, when you take into consideration the employee's pay, cost of hiring, talent retention costs, and the lost time and productivity. We interviewed 3 separate experts in this field, 2 of which wish to remain anonymous, so we've changed their names to protect their identities. The first, whom we'll refer to as Caroline, is a lead engineer and ex-software development manager at a seed-stage startup. The second, whom we'll refer to as Scott, is a hiring manager at a Series B startup, backed by Lightspeed Venture Partners. Our third interviewee is our very own Aaron Rennie, an executive recruiter here at Kofi Group. Here's what we asked. Question number 1. What are some best practices that you would recommend to hiring managers at startups that would enable them to put their best foot forward when recruiting engineers? Our 3 industry experts unanimously agreed that organizations should be open and transparent about their roles and company culture. They argue that it is crucial for your potential new hire to be a fit for the startup, from the standpoint of both their technical skills and their personality, to ensure that they can integrate completely and seamlessly into your company. Caroline says, be able to describe your company in a few sentences. If possible, know how this role will be focused and be able to articulate that information. If the role is not well defined and you are just hiring good people, be forthright with that information. Scott says it is important to consider your culture and be upfront about it. It's not enough to have an interesting product and big plans. Scott tells us, to recruit the best talent, you must also develop clear policies for things like diversity, equity, and inclusion, for how to report bad behavior like sexism and racism, and a clearly outlined process for dealing with reports. Regardless of whether your company takes a more in-house or external approach to recruitment, our experts agree that transparency is one of the most important factors that influence a candidate's decision to accept an offer from any company. They have to choose you as much as you have to choose them. Question number 2. Based on your experience as a hiring manager, what are some of the pros and cons of working with an internal recruiter versus an external recruiter? What do the best recruiters do differently? This is a big one. Each of our experts have had personal experiences with both internal and external recruitment strategies and provided pros and cons of each. One of the biggest challenges faced by internal recruiters is that they only represent the company they work for. This severely limits their ability to recruit passive candidates. External recruiters, on the other hand, can have discussions with potential candidates from a neutral standpoint and match them with the job opportunities that best suit their skills and career goals. Being an external recruiter for over 7 years, says Aaron, I believe we have a unique advantage over internal recruiters. One is that we actively represent the market, rather than representing a singular entity. Additionally, Caroline shared, internal recruiting responsibilities, especially at smaller startups, may be spread between many people, none of whom have a primary goal of recruitment, says Caroline. External recruiters often have established relationships with strong candidates from which to draw. An external recruiter should be working to find the ideal candidates for the company and its culture, while simultaneously matching the candidate's career goals to the best opportunity. In this way, they create win-win situations as a matchmaker for both parties. Often, external recruiters are more specialized and work intensely in key areas, whereas an internal recruiter often has a broader focus and may not have as nuanced of an understanding of the details for each position. However, internal recruiters are singularly focused on your open positions and other assigned tasks, and you can capitalize on that. How do the two options compare from a cost perspective? The average salary for an experienced internal recruiter ranges from $75,000 to $150,000 a year, depending on experience and geographical location. Keep in mind that a successful internal recruitment strategy will involve hiring 2 to 4 internal recruiters, along with a recruitment coordinator to ensure that everything runs smoothly. Comparatively, external recruiting agencies charge 20 to 30% of each placed candidate's first-year base salary. The exact percentage depends on market demand, the seniority of the position, and whether the firm is conducting a contingency or retained search. So, it seems that external recruiters can offer you a quick return of quality candidates due to their large network and niche focus. But placement fees can add up quickly. Hiring an internal recruiter can be much more budget-friendly, but it may take longer to fill your openings, and you may not be able to access certain passive candidates. Question number 3. Which of these sources led to the most engineering hires? Direct applicants, employee referrals, candidates presented by HR internal talent acquisition, or candidates presented by external recruiters and agencies? Even considering the previously mentioned disadvantages of internal recruitment strategies, both Caroline and Scott hold strongly the opinion that employee referrals leads to the most effective hires. Referrals are given by employees who want to offer a friend or colleague a great opportunity and simultaneously bring a good engineer onto the team. However, Scott also says that using external recruiters is often beneficial and necessary. Kofi Group found our company someone to fit a role that had been open for at least 6 months, Scott says. We had plenty of direct applicants and even some employee referrals. But this role had some unique requirements that we couldn't seem to find anyone to fit. I would absolutely recommend Kofi Group to hiring managers in a similar bind. On that note, our experts hold the opinion that internal recruiters are better at creating talent pipelines for entry-level and non-technical positions, resulting in a higher number of potential candidates. However, they may struggle with more complex and niche roles. For executive-level talent or highly technical positions, a specialized external recruiter can deliver quick results for your startup. If you've struggled to recruit for your startup in the past, type "recruit" in the comments below along with what your major challenge was. So, all in all, should you bring your recruitment process in-house? Aaron has a balanced view on this question, with his many years of recruiting experience with both internal and external hiring strategies. Some of the strengths Aaron saw in the internal recruitment strategy are: Number 1, internal recruiters operate as an extension of the organization, meaning they will have an advantage in understanding company culture, team dynamics, hiring budget, and other internal nuances. This leads to a consistent candidate experience. Number 2, long-term, this is the more cost-effective option. Some of the strengths of the external recruitment method are: Number 1, external recruiters have influence over candidates who they've built long-term relationships with. This means when a recruiter presents an opportunity with a startup, they are more inclined to listen, as rapport has already been established. Number 2, external recruiters work with both the candidate and company, so they seek win-win scenarios and will help to overcome obstacles. They can often act as a mediator to ensure a good offer is made and accepted. Is it possible to use both effectively? It's clear that internal and external recruiters have their own unique advantages. In some cases, referrals may attract strong candidates to the table, but this isn't necessarily always going to be true. Perhaps a multifaceted strategy that utilizes the strengths from both internal and external recruitments will be the most effective for your startup. Here at Kofi Group, we have proven success in external recruitment. Aaron shared with us an example of how he worked alongside the internal recruitment team at one of his clients to fill very specific software engineering positions. Because he had already established a network of engineering candidates with varying levels of experience, he was able to fill over 50% of their open positions in less than 10 weeks from first interview to offer. Another example comes from when we assisted a Palo Alto-based Series A startup backed by Emergence Capital, who had run internal and external searches for a senior front-end engineer for over 180 days, after losing their top candidate to another offer. Mike, one of our niche recruiters, spoke with members of their executive and engineering teams to gain a broad perspective of their company culture, growth plans, and technical challenges. We also shared insights on streamlining the interview process, optimizing the job description, and market compensation. Within 2 weeks, we presented 5 qualified candidates. At the end of the following week, we helped them narrow it down to 1 finalist and put together a strategy on how to close the candidate. We also had several conversations with the candidate throughout the process to uncover any concerns, get them excited about the company's growth prospects, and show how this role would help them achieve their long-term career goals. In the end, the startup hired the employee, and he immediately made significant contributions to the company. As you can see from this process, utilizing an external recruiter can alleviate a variety of issues that may arise from a purely internal model. The pre- and post-hire support can be invaluable, particularly in closing a valuable candidate who may be considering several offers at the same time. In some cases, bringing in an external recruiter, perhaps in conjunction with an internal model, might just turn out to be the fastest and most cost-effective way of acquiring quality candidates. We hate to end this video on an "it depends," but the effectiveness of both strategies really does depend on your hiring needs and budget. Internal recruitment can provide you with a lot of candidates for cheap. So if time is not an issue and your goal is to build a talent pipeline, in-house recruitment combined with employee referrals can work. On the other hand, if you are hiring for a niche skill set and need to fill positions quickly, partnering with a specialized external recruiter can yield excellent results. A blend of the two can also work nicely for virtually any startup looking to bolster their team with talented new hires. We hope you enjoyed internal versus external recruiters and how to secure the best talent for your startup. If you learned something from this video, please click that thumbs up button and let us know in the comments if there's any recruitment, technology, or startup-specific content you want us to cover next. To be the first to see this and other amazing recruitment, employment, and startup strategy videos, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications on. At Kofi Group, we're the executive recruitment specialists dedicated to matching software developers and machine learning engineers on a direct hire basis, with VC-backed startups in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, New York, and Austin. We help startups outcompete faang, or Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, and Big Tech in the highly competitive war for talent. To benefit from a confidential conversation about your career and some of the best opportunities for software developers in startups today, contact Kofi Group today.